All right, so let's watch Wall Street Millennials shocking new evidence in Musk OpenAI lawsuit. This is going to be juicy. Usually, the discovery phase of lawsuits are very juicy. So let's see this.
OpenAI was originally founded in 2015 as a nonprofit organization. The single largest donor was Elon Musk, who donated $34 million between 2015 and 2018. In 2024, Musk sued OpenAI and Sam Altman. The lawsuit relates to OpenAI's transition to a for-profit company. Basically, Musk feels that he was deceived because he donated money to OpenAI under the premise that it was a
Right?
nonprofit.
We
They
were
used
all
his money to
deceived.
build a for-profit business, which Musk doesn't own any share in. A few weeks ago, we published a video going over
That's the issue. That's the issue.
Musk's lawsuit. Link in the description below. Sam Altman and OpenAI vigorously deny Musk's allegations. They filed for so-called summary judgment. If a lawsuit is frivolous, a judge can decide to throw it out before it goes to trial. This is called summary judgment. In January of 2026, a judge denied OpenAI's request for summary judgment,
Ooh,
meaning the case will head to trial. Musk is now seeking $134 billion in damages from OpenAI
that's a
and
lot of
Microsoft,
money.
which is OpenAI's single largest shareholder. In this video, we'll look at all the updates in the Musk OpenAI lawsuit and what this could mean for the company going forward. When
Ooh,
OpenAI filed a motion seeking summary judgment, Musk
ooh.
had the opportunity to provide more evidence against OpenAI in opposition to the motion. The main point that Musk is trying to prove is that Sam Altman and other OpenAI executives always intended to turn OpenAI into a for-profit company.
Oh,
Had Musk
that's
known the truth, he wouldn't have
interesting.
donated money to them. During the legal process, Musk was able to subpoena the personal diary of OpenAI co-founder Greg Brockman, who
Oh,
currently
bro.
serves as the company's president. Brockman's
No.
personal diary entries do appear pretty damning at face value. Around 2017, Brockman, Altman, and other OpenAI executives were discussing plans to transition from a nonprofit to a for-profit company. Brockman was worried that their largest donor, Elon Musk, might be against this. In his personal diary, he wrote the following:
No.
"We cannot say we are committed to the nonprofit. Don't want to say that we're committed. If 3 months later we're doing a B Corp, then it was a lie. A B Corp is a for-profit corporation. It'd be wrong to steal the nonprofit from Musk, to convert it to a B Corp without him. That'd be pretty morally
Ooh,
bankrupt."
no way.
Eventually, OpenAI did convert to a B Corp without Musk. Despite providing the majority of OpenAI's funding in the early days, Musk owns no equity stake in OpenAI. Brockman himself referred to this as stealing the nonprofit from Musk and described it as morally bankrupt. Altman
Bro, it's so crazy. How the fuck did Elon Musk know that the other dumbass had a fucking diary? How the fuck do you subpoena a fucking diary? Do you know what this is? This is the same energy as, and this is gonna take so long again. I'm so sorry. Yeah. This is Elon Musk right here. Oh my god. No fucking way.
I sit here.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, that is so crazy. Oh shit.
and other OpenAI executives have long tried to portray their motivations as selfless and altruistic. They claim their primary goal is to create artificial intelligence for the benefit of all humanity. They are not interested in making profit. They needed to convert to a for-profit entity, as that's the only way they can raise the hundreds of billions of dollars they need to fund their data center build-out. But the
Wow.
executives themselves, they don't care about profit. This is the narrative Altman has tried to portray over the past few years.
No
But Greg
way.
Brockman's personal diary paints a very different picture. In 2017, years before they ultimately converted to a
Oh.
for-profit, Brockman wrote the following, quote, "It would be nice to be making billions. We've been thinking that maybe we should just flip to a for-profit. Making the money for us sounds great and all. What do I really want? Financially, what will take me to $1 billion?
Oh
If anyone was going to be
wow.
getting equity stakes, then it would be only fair that we would too," unquote. Far from altruistic motivations, Greg Brockman's primary
Oh.
concern was
Ooh.
how he could personally get $1 billion. OpenAI claims that CEO Sam Altman was not given an equity stake in the company. We don't know whether or not Greg Brockman owns any equity. OpenAI has already paid billions of dollars worth of stock-based compensation to its employees. It's unclear if executives like Brockman have received
Hello,
stock-based compensation.
peasants.
OpenAI denies any wrongdoing. OpenAI argues that Musk always knew about their plans to convert to a for-profit company, and if anything, Musk was more greedy than anyone else. OpenAI published a blog on its
Really?
website titled "The Truth Elon Left Out." This is meant
No.
to rebuff the allegation
Okay, that was 10 days ago. That is bold. This guy, Sam Altman, he uses his blog to great effect.
in Musk's lawsuit. Musk cherry-picked specific quotes without providing the full context, thus painting a misleading picture of what actually happened. Musk's lawsuit included the following excerpt. Musk insisted that any new entities support the nonprofit's mission and that OpenAI remains essentially a philanthropic endeavor. But if we look at the quotation in its entirety, it paints a very different picture. This is what Musk actually said. Gotta figure out, how do we transition from a nonprofit to something which is an essentially philanthropic endeavor and is a B Corp or C Corp or something? Must tell the story and not lose moral high ground. Absolutely vital. Musk was also quoted as saying, "Fundraising is super hard. I've worked hard on Gates and he didn't even stop by the office." He's referring to Bill Gates. Dustin donated, but he doesn't even show up personally. I'm not sure who Dustin is, but it's presumably some billionaire who donated to OpenAI. That's how much these people care about this. Didn't expect to be 70% of the cash contributions. Thought I'd be one piece. There are all these names on the website and they haven't contributed. Reality check. No one's going to give you this amount of money. When they see the
Ooh.
$10 billion, they're going to run to the hills.
Ooh. Ooh. That's why everybody's fucking broke right now. Oh my god.
Brand appear in AI search.
No
How can I
way.
boost digital brand visibility? Introducing SEMrush One, uniting
No
traditional
way.
When OpenAI was first founded in 2015, a number of billionaires said they would contribute to it. In total, OpenAI claimed to have $1 billion worth of donation commitments. However, most of these commitments never materialized. Musk donated $34 million. He was the largest donor by far, accounting for 70% of OpenAI's funding in the early days.
Sucker.
Musk estimated that OpenAI needed $10 billion to achieve its goal of artificial general intelligence. There is no way they could achieve this level of funding from donations. Across OpenAI's senior leadership,
Okay, first of all, this goal is just make believe AGI. Again, I'm repeating myself. If they would have waited and shown one of these latest models, maybe then people would have said, "Oh wow, this is incredible. We just need 100 billions now to get to AGI." People would have believed them, but now nobody believes them. This is not the way to AGI, and the progress is not as good as they make it out to be. GPT-5 was only negligibly better than GPT-4, and now they've just added those other gimmicks around the model to make it behave different, that you have this impression that it is more intelligent than it really is.
including Musk, there was broad agreement that OpenAI needed to convert to a for-profit company. The only disagreement was about who would profit from it. Elon Musk had some rather eccentric ideas about how OpenAI should raise money. In 2018, he suggested OpenAI should create its own cryptocurrency and conduct an initial coin offering. They
Uh, okay, so we already know that they actually did that. They had the world coin, which went to absolute shit afterwards. I think the prime time has covered it. I haven't seen his video.
ultimately decided against this idea. Musk also said that if OpenAI did convert to a for-profit company, he should be given a majority equity stake. Musk hoped to make $80 billion of profits from OpenAI. He would use this money to fund his long-standing ambition to create a human colony on Mars. In a testament to Musk's inflated ego, he wanted to have full voting control over OpenAI. Upon his death, he wanted the voting rights to be
Wow.
passed down to his children.
What the
The Musk
fuck?
OpenAI lawsuit has nothing to do with the ethicality of converting a nonprofit entity into a for profit company. It's basically
There's a lot of money on the table.
Musk and Altman fighting over who will receive the profits. However, this might be a moot point. While OpenAI has achieved a massive valuation in private funding rounds, there are currently no profits to speak of. In fact, the company incurs huge
11.5 billion in the last quarter. That is with the $20 a month subscription and the $200 a month subscription. So now they brought the $8 a month subscription and they're going to shove ads inside of the free tier and the $8 a month subscription. So how good is it really going for these guys? Not so good. If I was a betting man, I swear. Mhm.
losses. And we recently received more information about just how bad the company's finances are. Over the past few months, OpenAI has come under significant criticism across the media for its massive data center spending commitments, which far
Yeah, they couldn't even come up with the full 100 billion. 52 billion is the most that SoftBank and Oracle and OpenAI were all able to muster together. So, how likely is any of this shit to happen? It is a dropping by the day.
exceed the company's current revenue. OpenAI's CFO Sarah Fryer has recently been on damage control, trying to
Oh yeah, there's a bitch that was begging for the government subsidies. No fucking way, man. Look at you. Look at you.
convince the public that the company's business strategy is sound. On January 18th, 2026, Fryer published a blog post on OpenAI's website titled "A Business That Scales with the Value of
Man,
Intelligence."
everybody
In the blog,
yo,
she
stop it with the fucking blog posts. Just fucking work. Do work. Try to do something.
includes this chart, which shows the company's computing capacity along with its annualized
Oh man.
revenue. OpenAI claims it ended 2025 with $20 billion of annualized revenue compared to $6 billion at the end of 2024. OpenAI did not generate $20 billion of revenue in 2025. Revenue grew throughout the year. They generated $1.7 billion of revenue in December and multiplied that by 12 to get to $20 billion. Assuming the
Oh
revenue growth is
boy.
perfectly linear, OpenAI generated $13 billion of revenue in 2025. The implication of Fryer's
Yeah, the implication. If I was to go to the bank and say, hey, look how much money I made this cool projection. Look at that. Next year, I'm going to make uh, 240 billions. That's going to be great. That's going to be great.
charts is that OpenAI's revenue is scaled roughly in line with its computing capacity. They plan to spend hundreds of billions of dollars on new data centers. Revenue will grow commensurately with data center capacity. That's how they'll
Projections, they cannot even build 100 billion data center. So,
be able to pay for all their data center commitments.
uh,
While these charts might look
just so you know, okay, you got Zuckerberg who has a whole bunch of money and uh, he committed himself to spend, I think it's over the 5 or next 6 years, 600 billions, right? So about 100 billions a year, which is the revenue that he does. So he's trying to do that, but even him, with as much money as he has, the okay, OpenAI is aiming for a full 10 gigawatts consumption throughout their data center, which the electrical grid is unable to support at this pace. But Zuckerberg, who has his data center, is only going to get up to, I think, 5 gigawatts over a period of 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 2028 when the news came out. So once you take a minute to look at the metrics and look at what is going on, it all goes to shit. It all goes to shit. It's all fake. It's all a bunch of shit. It's a
We're on a blog
mirage.
post. Fryer's narrative quickly falls apart when we dig into the details. OpenAI is not a publicly traded company, so we don't have access to their financial statements, but we can infer some information about the company's financial performance. Microsoft started investing in OpenAI in 2019, and to date has invested $11.6 billion into the company. Remember that OpenAI was originally a non-profit. When they accepted their first investment from Microsoft in 2019, they created a complicated corporate structure, whereby Microsoft invested in a new for-profit entity, which was under the control of the non-profit entity. In October of 2025, OpenAI itself officially transitioned to a for-profit company. They created a separate non-profit foundation which owns some of the shares of the for-profit company. Because of this, Microsoft's ownership percentage was slightly diluted. Prior to the transition, Microsoft owned 32.5% of the for-profit entity. Now they own a 27% stake in OpenAI itself.
Ooh.
Grok code.
Grok code.
Grok code.
Grok code.
Grok code is not free?
It's real, it's really happening. Grab what you can and go.
I don't know what I'm gonna do now. I don't actually know how to do code.
Jeez, that was a bad video.
Microsoft is a publicly traded company and is thus required to publish its financial statements. OpenAI is classified as an equity affiliate of Microsoft. Thus, Microsoft is required to recognize its share of OpenAI's losses on its own income statement. In fiscal Q1 2026, Microsoft reported a $4.1 billion loss on its stake in OpenAI. Microsoft has a weird fiscal year which ends on June 30th. So fiscal Q1 2026 is actually the 3 months ended September 30th, 2025. This is the first time Microsoft explicitly disclosed how much they lost on their OpenAI investment.
Ooh.
The for-profit transition happened after the quarter end. So during this quarter, Microsoft owned 32.5% of OpenAI's for-profit entity. The $4.1 billion is only Microsoft's 32.5% share of the loss. That means that OpenAI's for-profit entity lost about $12.6 billion in that quarter alone.
Ooh, that's spicy. Bro, because even, from 11.5 to 12.6 doesn't feel like a lot, but we're talking about fucking billions. So I'm gonna run with the 12.6 if I remember.
That's an annualized loss rate of $50 billion per year. In its previous Form 10-K, Microsoft did not explicitly disclose how much money it lost from OpenAI, but the OpenAI loss is included within this line item labeled as Other Net. This chart shows Microsoft's Other Net line item over the past few years. This is using Microsoft's fiscal years, which ended on June 30th. Microsoft made its first investment into OpenAI in July of 2019, which is within Microsoft's fiscal year 2020. In these early days, OpenAI's operations were pretty small, so the losses were not very big. ChatGPT was released in November of 2022, which was during fiscal year 2023. Starting in fiscal 2024, OpenAI scaled up the size of its operations and its losses exploded.
Oh,
Prior to
man.
the OpenAI investment, Microsoft reported negligible values in the Other Net line item, so it's probably safe to assume that the vast majority of these losses.
I'm so sorry. I gotta do it again. I'm sorry. Try to get faster. Oh, whoa, that was fast. All right, let me switch it up. Switch it up.
Money, please.
Oh, no, there's no money.
Money, please. Money.
Ben, give her some money. It's easier.
Oh, yeah.
Can be attributed to OpenAI. Not only are OpenAI's losses massive, but they are increasing rapidly. In the first quarter of fiscal 2026 alone, OpenAI lost more money than it did during the entire year of fiscal 2025. In May of 2024, Sam Altman gave a talk at Stanford where he was asked about OpenAI's cash burn. Let's have a listen.
Oh.
And does it grow? So, in terms of just like the compute cost, correct me if I'm wrong, but
Oh my god, bro. Alright, this video is just fucking great. I'm so sorry, guys. Bear with me. It doesn't exist anymore. I need to change it. This is it. This is it. Look at the way he turned,
Actually, does
guys.
it grow? So, in terms of just like the compute cost, correct me if
Look at that stare, man. This guy. Are you talking about my dirty little secret? Yes, the compute is unbearable.
I'm wrong, but ChatGPT
Let's
3
go.
was, I've heard it was $100 million to do the model, and it was 175 billion parameters. GPT-4 cost $400 million with 10x the parameters. It was almost 4x the cost, but 10x the parameters. Correct me, adjust me. You know it, I don't.
do know it, but I won't.
Oh, you can. You're invited to. This is Stanford, Sam. Okay. But even if you don't want to correct the actual numbers, if that's directionally correct, does the cost, do you think, keep growing with each subsequent? Yes. And does it keep growing multiple?
No shadow of a doubt. This is it. This is it. This is not intelligent. It's not efficient. It's nothing. It's if you have a computer strong enough, it's going to be able to mimic something that comes close to it. And so you need better computers. That's the thing. You don't need better computers. You need more of them, and they have no other solutions than that. And so they're trying the different approaches with the frameworks and fucking thin thinking windows, and I don't know what the fuck. The solution: more compute. More compute works. It works. It's gonna ruin everybody and everything, but it works.
Applicatively.
And here, when I say it works, please, just the model, the LLM model works. This is not AI. It's not intelligent. There's nothing. It has nothing to do with that.
Probably. I mean,
And so
yeah.
then the question then becomes, how do you capitalize that?
Well, look, I kind of think that
Ever feel like you're being held hostage by your domain?
giving people really capable tools and letting them figure out how they're going to use this to build the future is a
Because it's not a product. It's not a finished product. They don't even know what they're able to do with it. They were just trying to shove it out, make money with it.
super good thing to do and is super valuable. And I am super willing to bet on the ingenuity of you all and everybody else in the world to figure out what to do about this. So there is probably some more business-minded person than me at OpenAI somewhere that is worried about how much we're spending, but I kind of don't. Whether we burn 500 million a year or 5 billion or 50 billion a year, I don't care. I genuinely don't.
This is the type of discourse that made Mark Zuckerberg say, fuck it, I'm going to do 100 billion a year. Who
As
cares?
long as we can, I think, stay on a trajectory where eventually we create way more value for society than that, and as long as we can figure out a way to pay the bills, like we're making AGI. It's going
Do you know who said that? Fucking Uber. Is Uber profitable after all those years?
to be expensive. It's totally worth it.
Sam Altman is
Also, yes, it would be worth it if it was artificial intelligence, but it's not. It's not even AGI. It's not going to come close anywhere to that. So it is pointless. Don't do it. Don't do it. Get help.
not a business minded person. He doesn't care how much money they burn. Even if they burn $50 billion per year, he wouldn't care. A little over 1 year later, in the third calendar quarter of 2025, OpenAI incurred a net loss of $12.6 billion, representing an annualized loss rate of $50.4 billion. Altman indeed achieved his goal of burning $50 billion. Sam Altman has made it clear that he's willing to spend basically an unlimited amount of money. No matter how much revenue OpenAI generates, they won't make a profit because Sam Altman will spend it all. And no matter how much venture capital they raise, they'll always have to come back for more because Sam Altman will spend it all. According to the Wall Street Journal, OpenAI had 4,000 employees at the end of 2025. Also, according to the Wall Street Journal, OpenAI paid a total of $6 billion worth of stock-based compensation to its employees.
Jesus
On average, each
Christ.
OpenAI employee received $1.5 million worth of stock. We don't know how much cash salary OpenAI employees get paid, but let's assume that they get $500,000 of cash on average, which is probably a conservative estimate. OpenAI could easily be spending $8 billion per year on salaries. The independent journalist Ed
Wow.
Zitron claims to have received data about OpenAI's inference compute spending from sources familiar with these numbers. Zitron's numbers were republished by the Financial Times. Zitron's sources tell him that OpenAI spent almost $8 billion on inference costs in the first 9 months of 2025. This is only inference costs. It doesn't include the costs of training new models, which is probably billions of dollars more. Based on this trajectory, OpenAI could easily have spent $13 or $14 billion on inference in 2025, or about the same as its revenue. Also keep in mind that this is only their spending on Microsoft Azure. We know that they have other computing deals with CoreWeave, AWS, Lambda, and others. In addition to computing costs and salaries, OpenAI spends tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars per year on advertising. For example, they spent $14 million on one Super Bowl commercial. So OpenAI spends billions of dollars on computing costs to train its models. Once they're completed, they continue to incur more costs than the revenue they generate, so the losses keep increasing. And they pay billions of dollars per year.
The usage, people using it as hard as they can for $200 a month, they compute, man. They compute.
In salaries. Sarah Fryer brags that revenue increases along with computing capacity, but the losses are also increasing at the same time. As OpenAI brings more data centers online, I'm sure that their revenue will increase, but their costs have been increasing even.
So crazy too that she has the audacity of present these types of projections and just blatantly fucking beg the government for subsidies, and it is such a fucking hard pill to swallow that she can't even say it right.
Even faster, so the losses will continue to balloon. As OpenAI's cash burn accelerates, the company is becoming more and more desperate to generate revenue in whatever way they can. They're now resorting to do things that they previously promised not to do. In October of 2024, Sam Altman gave a talk at the Harvard Business School where he discussed his thoughts on advertising.
Obviously.
I will disclose just as like a personal bias that I hate ads.
No way.
I think
freaking way.
Important to give the early internet a business model, but I think they do sort of somewhat fundamentally misalign a user's incentives with the company providing the service. I'm not totally against them. I'm not saying OpenAI would never consider ads, but I don't like them in general. And I think that ads plus AI is sort of uniquely unsettling to me. You know, when I think of like,
gotta get that money.
GPT writing me a response, if I had to go figure out, you know, exactly how much was who paying here to influence what I'm being shown, I don't think I would like that. And as like things go on, I think I would like that even less. So there's something I really like about the simplicity of our model, which is we make great AI and you pay us for it, and it's like we're just trying to do the best we can for you. And then given that that has some inherent lack of access and inequality, we commit as a company to use a lot of what basically the rich people pay to give free access to the poor people, or the poorer people. You see us.
Yeah, that's what I just said. They even at $200 a month, people that pay $200 a month, they get their fucking money's worth. I can tell you that much.
Do that today with the ChatGPT free tier. You'll see us do a lot more.
Bro, honestly, if I was on a $200 a month, I'd be running that shit 24/7. So much so that, you know, it would be a lot.
To make the free tier much better over time. And I'm interested in figuring out how we bring the equivalent concept to the API. But I kind of think of ads as like a last resort for us.
Oh man. Oh man. Oh, this is so good. Goddamn. All right, so the last stretch. If it fails, it's never coming back.
I would do it if it meant that was the only way to get everybody in the world like access to great services. But if we can find something that doesn't do that, I'd prefer that.
Augment Code just outperformed 6 of the top AI code review tools on a public benchmark. These are results.
Talking to ChatGPT can be a deeply personal experience. Many people feel like
Yeah, people, they believe that this is a relationship coach or a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Um, yeah, people have been using this shit the way that OpenAI actually wants them to use it, but you shouldn't, you shouldn't. If they finally build these data centers, these big ass data centers, they're gonna take those personal conversations that you've had, they're gonna use that to train the next models, and they're gonna mimic emotions, they're gonna mimic personal thoughts, they're gonna mimic a whole bunch of personal shit. If that happens, we're gonna be cooked because 100% people are gonna believe that this is intelligent, that there's somebody inside, there's a ghost inside of the machine. The fucking idiot at Google who got fired like 2 3 years ago saying that the Google model was conscious. Guy, get a grip. Hey, get a grip, man. So back then, people were already losing their mind, thinking that this is intelligent, right? What do you think is gonna happen if you have something that's gonna be able to mimic like all those complex emotions, not because it feels it, just because it's able to write it out?
they're talking to a real person. Having the AI serve ads to you would be a deeply unsettling experience, according to Sam Altman. However, it's very difficult for ChatGPT to monetize without ads. According to the information, fewer than 5% of ChatGPT's users pay for a premium subscription. For 95% of users, OpenAI incurs massive computing costs but generates zero revenue. So why does ChatGPT even offer a free tier? According to Sam Altman, the free tier exists so that poor people can still have access to the technology. This is corporate propaganda. There's nothing altruistic about the free tier. The free tier exists as the top of the marketing funnel. Up until recently, the cheapest paid tier was ChatGPT Plus, which costs $20 per month. The $8 Go tier was just added recently. We'll discuss it shortly. Very few people would be willing to start paying $20 per month right off the bat. You get people to start using the free tier. If they use it a lot, they'll eventually hit rate limits and they might upgrade to the Plus tier. It has nothing to do with expanding access to poor people. It's a necessary part of the marketing funnel. This freemium model only works when the marginal cost of supporting each free user is very low. The problem with ChatGPT is that even free users incur significant computing costs for the company. In an attempt to become profitable, OpenAI is now reaching for the last resort. Just within the last few weeks, ChatGPT started showing ads inside the free tier. They also created a new tier called ChatGPT Go. It costs $8 per month and is ad supported. Go gives you higher rate limits and more functionality. So how much revenue will ChatGPT generate from advertising? Advertising in AI products is still in its infancy, so it's very difficult to predict, but we do have some precedent to look at. Perplexity is an AI-powered search engine which has millions of users. It's supposed to be a competitor to Google. When you search for something, AI will give you a text-based answer instead of giving you a bunch of links. Perplexity has millions of users, but they have struggled with monetization and are believed to be losing a lot of money. In November of 2024, Perplexity started showing ads. This was an attempt to start monetizing their massive free user base. Perplexity's advertising business was an embarrassing failure. In the first year, Perplexity generated just $20,000 of advertising revenue, compared to the $34 million they made from their subscription offerings. In October of 2025, Perplexity halted its advertising business, and their head of advertising left the company. Perplexity has millions of active users, and they claim to process tens of millions of searches every day. So why were they only able to generate $20,000 of advertising revenue? Let's contrast Perplexity to successful advertising businesses like Google and Meta. When you're on Google search, chances are you're logged into your Google account and you're probably using Google Chrome. Google knows a lot about you from your previous search history. They can show you personalized ads, which you are more likely to click on. Once you click an ad, they have tracking pixels. This allows them to track whether or not you actually purchased the product after you clicked on the ad. Google can share this attribution data with its advertisers. Advertisers love this because they can see that their ad spending is resulting in real sales. Meta's ad tech has a similar level of sophistication. Meta knows a lot about you from your activity on Facebook and Instagram. This allows them to target hyper-relevant ads. Meta has various ways to see whether or not you actually purchased the product after you clicked on an ad. You don't need to create an account to use Perplexity. The majority of users never log in. Perplexity knows nothing about you, so they can only show you generic ads. This is a technical problem that Perplexity can eventually solve by making their ad tech more sophisticated. But AI advertising has a more fundamental problem. Advertising thrives in environments where users are comparing, shopping, or browsing, and where clicking is part of the expected workflow. Suppose you're on Google, mindlessly browsing the web for a few hours, clicking on dozens of links. Because you're clicking on so many links, you might click on a sponsored link every once in a while, and maybe you'll even buy the advertised product. AI products like Perplexity have a very different use case, which evokes very different consumer behavior. People use Perplexity to finish a task, not to explore options. Typical queries are narrow and goal-oriented. Summarizing a news event, explaining a technical concept, or answering a specific factual question. If a user asks Perplexity, explain how a convertible bond works, the AI delivers a complete synthesized response that resolves the question in one step. There is no natural reason to click onward because the user's objective has already been met. Even when Perplexity inserts sponsored links or follow-up prompts, they feel incidental to the task rather than helpful to completing it. Over time, this trains users to treat Perplexity as a terminal destination rather than a gateway, which dramatically reduces both the volume and the psychological appeal of ad clicks. Perplexity's ad experiment was a disaster, generating negligible revenue. ChatGPT is likely to perform better than Perplexity as an advertising platform, but still materially worse than Google or Meta because it sits somewhere in between them in both data and consumer behavior. Unlike Perplexity, ChatGPT generally requires users to be logged in, which allows OpenAI to build persistent user profiles over time and enables a degree of personalization and targeting that Perplexity largely lacks. That alone should improve ad relevance and advertiser confidence relative to a mostly anonymous AI search tool. However, ChatGPT still inherits many of the same structural problems that limit ad performance in AI products. Users come to ChatGPT to get answers, complete tasks, or generate content, not to browse or shop, and the interaction is designed to minimize friction rather than encourage exploration. ChatGPT may succeed at showing more targeted ads than Perplexity, but it still lacks the behavioral dynamics that make advertising a dominant revenue engine for traditional search and social platforms. OpenAI will generate significant revenue from advertising, maybe even billions of dollars, but remember that this company is currently losing $50 billion per year, and their costs are going to explode even higher over the coming years as their data center spending commitments come due. Turning on advertising is not a panacea which will magically make them profitable. The company will continue to burn large amounts of cash for the foreseeable future. To date, OpenAI has raised $64 billion of venture capital. This is the largest amount of venture capital that any company has ever raised. But given OpenAI's massive losses, it looks like they've already burned through most of it. Their current loss rate is $50 billion per year. That includes a lot of stock-based compensation, so their cash burn is less than this, but still tens of billions of dollars per year. OpenAI is reportedly seeking to raise $100 billion of venture capital by the end of the first quarter of this year. If this actually happens, it will be the largest private funding round ever by a huge margin. And OpenAI needs the money. Starting in 2027, which is just 1 year away, they'll need to start paying Oracle $60 billion per year for cloud computing deals that they've already signed. OpenAI needs to raise more money each year than any company has ever raised ever. Eventually, they will exhaust the pool of available venture capital, and the house of cards will finally come crumbling down. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video. What do you think about OpenAI? Let us know in the comments section below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.